Are you ready to embark on a journey through the ages? Prepare to be mesmerized as we unveil the mysteries of an ancient book that was recently discovered in the depths of Egypt. This mysterious artifact, dating back centuries, holds a message that will shock and terrify you. Join us as we delve into the ancient past, unlock the secrets of this mysterious artifact, and discover the chilling message that it holds. In ancient Egypt, the end of life signaled the beginning of a difficult journey, which may be eased down by spells from a Book of the Dead. Rob Attar, who is the author, investigates how these volumes were utilized to guarantee a quick and successful passage into the next world. You stand in a vast hall supported by columns, dressed in spotless clothing and white sandals. The figure of Osiris, the god of the underworld, sits on a throne at the far end of the chamber. You are surrounded by 42 gods, including the Swallow of Shades, the Bonebreaker, and the Eater of Entrails. The deity Thoth, in the appearance of a baboon, stands in front of you. He stands atop a set of scales that will determine your everlasting destiny very soon. This is the day of judgment, and if you fail the test, you will suffer the agonizing second death. But you are unafraid because you hold the Book of the Dead, a tome that provides the keys to surviving the afterlife. O far strider who came out from Heliopolis, I have done no deceit, you say to the first of the gods. Then you go on to the second. O fire embracer of Keraha, I have not robbed. Because ancient Egyptians believed that life on earth might be relatively brief, funeral rites were an important element of their society. Many of Egypt's most well-known antiquities, pyramids, tombs, and mummies reflect the time and money that the Nile's inhabitants were willing to invest to assure a prosperous afterlife. During the Egyptian 5th dynasty, circa 2350 BC, spells or formulas that may ease your journey to the next world first appeared on the walls of pyramids. These pyramid texts developed into coffin texts 400 years later, during Egypt's Middle Kingdom, and were engraved on coffins, tomb walls, and sometimes sheets of papyrus. After 1550 BC, a corpus of spells written and drawn on papyrus sheets began to supplant coffin texts in Egyptian graves. This is what we now know as the Book of the Dead. However, the Egyptians themselves referred to it as the Book of Coming Out by Day. The Book of the Dead was utilized for the following 1,500 years, although with variations, until enormous changes in the nation weakened many of Egypt's traditions. Although it is known as the Book of the Dead, no two volumes are the same. There was no standard Book of the Dead. Each book included various contents, argues John H. Taylor, a British museum specialist on ancient Egyptian funerary archaeology. There was a pool of manuscripts, approximately 200 from which you might pick, but no known document includes every known spell. There are some that appear in almost every copy of the Book of the Dead, and others that are very uncommon, with just 1 or 2 occurrences. The Book of the Dead was extensively utilized, and thousands of instances have been preserved to this day. Nonetheless, it is obvious that such texts were not accessible to all Egyptians. Books of the Dead, meticulously written and sometimes gorgeously drawn, would have been out of reach for the bulk of people. They are exclusively discovered in the graves of Egypt's highest classes. Were they consequently unnecessary? The Book of the Dead didn't appear to be something you had to acquire, says Professor Stephen Quirk of University College London's Petrie Museum. It was an extra luxury to shore up and enhance the potential to achieve everlasting life. It was a striking and attractive element to a lavish funeral. Egyptians believed that after death, your Ba soul would leave your body, but only briefly. The Ba would have to return to your remains on a regular basis, possibly every night, and for this reunion to be effective, your body would have to be whole. That is why Egyptians invented a sophisticated method of mummification, since your afterlife would be jeopardized without it. However, stopping disintegration was not enough to ensure your survival in the next life. Your Ba will meet a number of problems on its trip, and a Book of the Dead would be a great resource in coping with them. As a result, The book was often put in the coffin, sometimes even wrapped inside the mummy's bandages, guaranteeing that the words within would accompany you as you faced the hardships of life after death. There's no denying that the next world was a frightening realm, plagued by demons who mirrored and magnified the terrible things Egyptians could have faced in the living world. You were therefore prepared with spells for fending against serpents, crocodiles, beetles, snakes, and a scary entity known as the beast that consumes the ass. You could also face some terrible minions of Osiris, sharper fingers, and the so-called slaughter site of the deity. Fortunately, you were given the ability to battle evil, escape traps, and prevent decomposition and decapitation. Another terrifying scenario was being flipped upside down, which would wreak havoc on your digestive system. As a result, some books of the dead contain a spell for not eating dung or drinking pee in the underworld, a detailed portrayal of some of the horrors that may befall you. You would have to go through a succession of gates, each guarded by a terrifying god. Your understanding of the gates and guards was critical to your development, and this knowledge was conveniently housed inside the Book of the Dead. So, for example, when you approached the sixth gate, spell 146 advised you to declaim, "Make a way for me, for I know you, I know your name, and I know the name of the god who guards you, mistress of darkness, loud of shouts. Its height cannot be known from its breadth, and its extent in space cannot be discovered. It has snakes on it, the number of which is unknown. It was created before the innate one's name." You would invoke the god's protection and emphasize your own value. "My name is bigger than yours, mightier than yours on the path of justice," spell 144 declares. The most crucial exam would be in the Hall of the Two Mots, where your life on earth would be assessed. After answering the 42 mummified gods' questions, you would go to the set of scales presided over by the jackal-headed deity Anubis. The vision of reality was on one scale, and your own heart was on the other. If you had lived a good life, the scales would balance, and you would have a bright future. If the scales do not balance, you will be summoned by the Devourer, a terrifying beast with the head of a crocodile, the body of a lion, and the haunches of a hippo. The Devourer would consume your heart, and you would perish in the second death. Thank you for watching, and we hope you will join us on our next adventure as we continue to explore the unknown and unlock the secrets of the past. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting discoveries and intriguing mysteries.